Paradox is a collective of entrepreneurial leaders redefining what it means to lead today, owning the way that we show up, connecting deeply with one another, and leveling up continually in our lives and our work. And we have an awesome model and curriculum for how to do that I'm so excited to share with you. At the root of why Paradox exists is because our current world is divided. We're polarized, whether it's within us between our heads and our hearts, between us between black and white, male and female, liberal and conservative, whether it's in our teams of how do we lead? Do we be analytical? Are we intuitive? And whether it's globally and literally having our whole civilization and the natural world we came from be polarized and at odds. And the great thing, though, is that when we take these things that seem opposite, that have been divided, when we learn as leaders to bring them together, life thrives and we can turn around this polarization and actually make it work for us, bring these opposing forces together. And there's a science to how to do this. In physics, which is my background, everything we experience as reality consists of both a wave and a particle. And these are seeming opposites, but we need both in order for the universe to exist. In chemistry, there's the electron and the proton that create atoms, which are the building blocks of all matter that we experience. In neuroscience, there's implicit cognition and explicit, which basically means the conscious and the subconscious mind. And our consciousness couldn't exist without both. And of course, in biology, right? There's the sperm and the egg. We all came from this. And without this masculine and feminine, nothing would exist. So fundamentally, the universe arises, is created out of taking things that seem opposite and polarized and bringing them together. One really meaningful polarity that I want to tell you about is within the autonomic nervous system, which is the nervous system that controls all of our involuntary body behavior. Our heartbeat, our breathing, our blood pressure, all of this is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. And it has two parts. It has the sympathetic, which is the fight, flight, or freeze, get juiced up, let's go, and the parasympathetic, which is the rest, digest, relax. Now, there's one time in our lives, or it could happen multiple times, when both of these get turned on together. Both of these are activated at the same time. And it's a euphoric experience. Can you guess what it is? Orgasm! Literally, when we take these different sides of our nervous system and they both get activated, that's when we experience the euphoria, the joy, the sensation of orgasm. And I say that to illustrate that when we take other things that have been opposing, it may not feel exactly like an orgasm, but it's a similar type of magic that's being created in the universe. To make this more tangible, we're not just talking about high-level concepts here. We're talking about really owning the way that we show up, finding what has been polarized within us and the way we're behaving in order to bring that into resonance, and through that, we can create the same type of connections in our lives. So in our own lives, as an entrepreneur, for me, and I know for so many of you, there's this polarity of hustling and resting, and we want to go, go, go. But the truth is, when we rest and relax, we have more clarity, we can hustle harder and more effectively and more sustainably. Interpersonally, we need to balance speaking and sharing our own voice with really listening to others so that we can also take in their wisdom, cultivate trust, and build a culture of belonging. On our teams, as a leader, we have to hold our authority and command and make sure that we're providing direction. We also need to allow others to shine and delegate and allow it to be more than just ourselves. And then on a global level, we can't just succeed and achieve and be profitable. We definitely need to. We also need to balance that with a greater purpose to make sure we're contributing to something. The way we're going to do this is first owning what has been polarized in our inner world and bringing that into connection. As we do that, allows us to be responsible for the way that we show up and behave in the world, which allows us to then thrive on a personal and professional level. And of course, we're going to be aware of our lives so that we can keep growing internally as well. The way that we own our inner world is first we get clear on our vision and our values. Our vision is where we want to go. Our values are like our DNA, how we want to be, what's really meaningful to us. And then we have to master our beliefs, our emotions, and our physiology. These three things act like filters around our vision and our values. And if they're not in alignment, they'll sabotage us. They won't allow us to be the way we want to. As we own this inner world, it allows us to really succeed in life, to cultivate and create the lives we want on an individual, interpersonal, organizational, and global level. And we're going to develop some super powerful competencies to do this. We're going to be mindful, we'll be present to our lives so that we can not only rock it in life, but also love it, also experience it, really be aware of what's going on inside of us and around us. We're going to foster self-awareness and self-management so we can know where we want to go and have the tools to get there. We're going to enhance our own understanding of our vision and values, empower our beliefs, and of course, practice health and wellness, because without that, nothing else really matters. And then in our lives, we'll be able to cultivate incredible connections, authentic, deep, meaningful connections, being able to move through conflict, being able to foster trust and belonging among everyone that we meet. And in our teams, we'll be able to engage our employees, inspire, motivate, coach, build super thriving cultures. And on an even greater level, we'll connect with something bigger. We'll be part of the evolution of humanity, and that can hold us even when times get challenging as they are right now, with knowing that there's a greater purpose that we're part of. To do all this, we have an incredible program. Every other week, we're coming together to live interact, get to know each other, learn content, and then between that, we have great content, accountability sessions, and all of that will be part of an 8-week cycle where every 8 weeks, we explore a new paradox, develop another part of ourselves, and ultimately enhance our ability to put this model into action. Thank you so much for listening. So excited to get started. Talk to you soon.